Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I'm eating my lunch here, getting ready to enjoy the game in about 2.5 hours. Lakers versus Nets. And I was listening to Trevor Lane, and he was asking everybody if he thought, if we all thought that Rui Hachimura would be able to kind of take a step forward and claim his starting spot in the rotation. It's probably a small forward or a four. Um, Definitely a small forward. Make that very clear. But my whole point of view on that is, until Rui gets worked into the system, there's no real way to judge him. Like, we can say, okay, he played well because he hits a couple shots, but within what system? You know what I mean? Has he had any playing time with the teammates around him? Do they know his tendencies? Do they know what he needs on the floor? I mean, does the coach know him? Do we have understanding of what exactly do we have down there in this player? No. Why? Because we acquired him a day before the road trip. So that means no practice time probably whatsoever. So, excuse me. In my mind, we just got to be a little more patient with Rui. If he happens to shoot well, that's a great indicator that he's on fire. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he knows his teammates and that he knows the system just yet, or that you know what I mean, he's going to be able to do that every night. Now, if he doesn't play well, which is what I'm most concerned about in regards to everybody's opinion, I don't want anybody to overreact and say, oh my God, Rui's a bust, oh my God, we made a mistake, or anything of that nature. Because until we understand what it is that he's about in terms of his skill set, and until he knows our plays, obviously what the team tendencies are and things of that nature, there's going to be room for error. There's going to be room for error, and it's a lot of pressure on you to begin with to be a Laker. So that's really my point of view. Can he take a step forward and claim his starting spot as a Laker small forward tonight? I think it's an opportunity for him to step forward and possibly show everybody that what he can do in terms of his individual mechanics. But I'll be very impressed if he knows all the plays. If he can show us that he's picking up plays and is picking up synergy with teammates, particularly guys that he hasn't played with, if he shows us some incredible ability to kind of gel with others, then I don't see any reason why that can't be the idea. So that's really my opinion. But can you see a world where he doesn't play well and he still is able to capture the starting spot going forward? Yeah, because I don't think his struggles are any indicator of what it is that he ultimately will be able to do for us if we choose to put him in the starting lineup or come off the bench with him as well. So this is one of those situations where it's like, okay, if I'm looking at this the way that a lot of people are looking at it, I'm saying, okay, winning the starting spot is something that you should aim for. But I'm of the mindset that you're a unit. So it doesn't really matter who's starting or who's coming off the bench as it pertains to what helps win it. Well, what helps the team win, because at the end of the day, it's about who gets the minutes. It's about who's on the floor in key moments. And as we continue to study, we know that the leading up to moments are just as important as the crunch moments, especially given the fact that we're not a very good crunch team. We should be looking at all the things that happen in the earlier moments leading up to those final minutes as things that we should be focused in on and controlling our best and playing our best. So that's how I'm looking at the Lakers. It's not about who's necessarily starting. It's about how those units are playing and what needs to happen to follow up what's being done. You know what I mean? And that means if the coach puts small ball on the floor, which he's likely going to do, what can the second unit do to get us back in the ball game? I mean, dang it, that's just what it is most nights. So that's what it's about. If Rui can be a part of that second unit and help erase that deficit that is inevitably going to take place when we go small, we can definitely find ourselves feeling good about him helping our team going forward and slotting him in whatever position necessary. Obviously, with him getting the starting spot, I would imagine he would start tonight. Hopefully he can get us out to a good lead. Hopefully that means we're not going to see any small ball. Hopefully that means he can offset the small ball unit. And if that's the case, who's sitting? Who's not getting the start? Is Lonnie going to be available tonight? I understand him to be day-to-day, so that's a question mark for me. I don't know. But, maybe he can take the 4 spot starting there over Bron, but I don't know if that actually simulates what it is that he would be doing otherwise. So if we're trying to figure out if he slot into the starting spot, you may want to try to start him at the position he would actually be starting at, as to which you probably want to start either Wenyen Gabriel, JTA, that kind of thing, since Bron and AD are not out there. Obviously, you expect to start Thomas Bryant. So we'll see how the lineups go. You can also slot Troy Brown in there as well. So that's what I'm curious about. Is he going to actually start Rui Hachimura? I just didn't look myself. Maybe that information's already out there, but that's what I'm curious to see. If he gets the start tonight, how does that affect the lineup? Because in my opinion, what we saw with Rui out there minus Wenyen Gabriel was a little less defense on the floor, a little less ability to kind of force the issue. And so I think it would probably be wise to try to put as much defense on the floor as possible, as we say a million times over. Wenyen Gabriel, Max Christie, those are players that ultimately I think really will help you tonight if you lean on them together and put them in situations next to Rui Hachimura so that they can keep the defense live and then give him the ball and allow him an opportunity to score more, because that's not really what they're going to do. So that's kind of how I envision it. You got to try to help Rui, almost like you're going to try to help Bron and AD. As I always say, you want to keep Wenyen on the floor so that they can do the 50-50 ball stuff. They can help with those things, but they're not going to be the initiator, and you definitely don't want them over jumping, to try to make those things happen. You want somebody else in there helping. And some of the other players that we have on this team don't necessarily help with that as much. And we find ourselves relying on those players to do those things by themselves. It needs to be Wenyen. It needs to be Max. And I think if Coach tends to understand that, if he keeps those players close, or Troy Brown, he's also part of that. But the thing about Troy is he starts missing a lot, and it could take away from the areas that help us. But Max and Wenyen, a little more efficient players on the offensive end, so that you can kind of get away with them playing on the defensive end a little better. And that's what I see there, man. I'm telling you, play those players more, this team's going to be so much better. They're going to be so much better. And if you put them players next to Rui, he'll have a better plus-minus with them on the floor. I promise you that. It's just going to be that way. So that's what I want to see our coach try to do, but I know that's not what he's going to do. It's going to be Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverly, Russell Westbrook in rotation in some heavy amount. Maybe we'll feature Thomas Bryant if he feels like it, but Claxton's going to have something to say about that. And then you got to understand, Kyrie Irving's going to be the star of the show tonight. Obviously, it's going to take care of whatever necessary. So we're just going to have to do our best to put as much points on the board as possible, and that's really why I looked at TB. If TB has a 31-15 night, that's the type of night that I know the Lakers won the basketball game. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. If we really want to win this game, you want to try to get the ball to Thomas Bryant as much as possible and just see what Claxton has for him, because Kyrie's going to be eating. And if we're giving the ball to these guards, he's going to carve them up, and it's going to be interesting to see how they offset what he's going to be doing to them. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. It's going to be a show out there. He's a surgeon, and he's in a rare form. So Lakers have got to be patient with the players that they're working into the equation, because this is not an indicator of whether or not they'll be able to help you long term. They're going to be running to Kyrie Irving tonight, and he's going to be hoisting up 30 shots. So if guys don't play well, it's because he's doing his thing. So be ready for it. That's what I got to say, man. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching.